Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today's video we're going to be going over everything we've been doing to try to use / preserve our blueberries, and to be honest with you, it hasn't really made a dent. We have an absurd amount of blueberries, and you'll see it in the next clip. We're just swimming in them. So we've made some recipes, and I've put this video together just to give you guys some inspiration if you are also drowning in blueberries, or if you just like the recipe and you want to go out to the store to get them. So yep, here are, we've probably picked like over 20 quarts of blueberries. We've given some away, so that, this isn't even all of it. So let's get into it. This first recipe, I don't really have a lot of details in the video for, which I apologize, but I will put the recipe in the description below. I personally didn't love this recipe. My dad liked it. What I would do differently is I was, trying to be healthy, so I used whole wheat flour. I would cut that in half and do half wheat and half white. Yeah, so the wheat kind of overpowered the muffin for me. So yeah, again, if I were to do it again, I would just cut the wheat in half. But moving on to the next recipe here, I just made some blueberry syrup. Now, you can use this for a lot of different things. We've put it on plain vanilla ice cream, as a little topping. Put it on pancakes, waffles, use it in blueberry recipes. I used it in a Dutch baby, and if you're looking for a Dutch baby recipe, just go back and check on my YouTube channel. I do have a recipe. Actually, I'll link it in the cards here so that you don't have to go searching for it. So if you want to try a Dutch baby, go do that. So anyway, I just put my blueberries, and by the way, all the recipes that I used will be linked below. So I put blueberries and water into a pot and brought it to a simmer. You saw me mixing up just some cornstarch and water, and we're going to be using that in a bit. So once we get up to a boil, and then we bring it to a simmer, and we add our cornstarch and water mixture. That just helps thicken it up. You let it simmer for 15 minutes to kind of reduce, and you have your syrup. Super simple, super easy. And actually, in this next clip here, I'm using my blueberry syrup. So I decided another good way to use my blueberries would be to make a blueberry sourdough loaf. I'm typically just the plain Jane sourdough. I've wanted to try different flavors before, so this was a good excuse. So not only did I put my blueberries into my loaf, I also used my blueberry syrup to flavor it up a little bit. And for those of you wondering, would that be like too liquidy? Would it leak out? It really didn't. So it ended up pretty good, and you'll see it in a later clip. So just enjoy the shaping until we get to the baked product. Okay, so as you can see here, cutting into the loaf, it didn't leak a whole bunch, and a lot of the blueberry stayed concentrated to kind of the outside of the loaf, but it tasted good, and it was really good for breakfast. I enjoyed it. Just put some butter on it, maybe butter and jelly. So anyway, on to the next recipe. This was like a blueberry lemon pastry tart thingamabob. So what we've got going on is we're just going to zest a whole lemon, and then I cut the lemon in half to just prep it for the rest of the recipe. So we've got 4 ounces of cream cheese, softened, and half of a lemon juice. and then half of that zest that we zested up earlier. And we're just gonna mix this until it's mostly combined. Oh, sorry, and some confectionery sugar. Again, recipes will be linked below so you can get all the exact amounts. Mixing this was a little bit difficult in terms of like getting it super smooth. So if I were to do it again, which it was really good, so I would do it again, I would use probably a blender, or not a blender, a hand mixer, just to get everything smooth. But it didn't really affect the, outcome of the recipe, but just, a word to the wise, I guess. So now I have my 2 cups of blueberries, and I will be dressing it with 2 tablespoons of sugar, and then I believe the other half of the lemon juice. Let's see. Yep, there it is. The other half of the lemon juice. So we're just gonna combine the blueberries and coat them with the lemon juice and the sugar. Next step in the process is to massage some sugar into the zest. So basically flavoring this sugar to be lemony. So you just mix it with your fingers, mix it with your hands, and you mix until it's fragrant. So once the sugar mixture smells lemony, you know you've mixed it enough. It's fragrant. Alright, that's good. Alright, so next, well, I wanted a pastry sheet, and my boyfriend went out to the store and came back with this, which was a dough sheet. I don't believe it's the same thing, but the recipe still turned out great. So if you want to use a dough sheet, go right for it. I would probably still opt for the pastry sheet just because it's already like in a sheet. The dimensions are perfect. So here I'm just rolling it out a little bit to get the dimensions right. And then I'm going to just fold. Sorry, I couldn't think of that word. Fold the edges in just a little bit to contain, the contents of this recipe. So just going to be spreading the cream cheese mixture evenly over the dough. Okay, and then here's where I remembered that I forgot to do the crumble that's supposed to go on top. So that lemon sugar mixture that I did, mix that with melted butter. Though, if I were to write this recipe and if I were to do it again, I would personally use cold butter. Like when you're making an apple crisp crumble topping, you usually cut in cold butter to your sugar and flour. That's what I would do, because as you can see here, I'm mixing in the flour and it's just not giving me that like crumble consistency. So I ended up going in with a fork and just trying to get crumbles formed that way. So yeah, if I were to correct anything on this recipe, I would cut my cold butter into my sugar and flour mixture. Anyway, with the rest of the assembly here, we are putting the sugar and lemon coated blueberries over the top of the cream cheese, and then putting the crumbles on top, which kind of looks like cheese, but I promise it tasted really good. So what you're going to want to do is be really careful when you're transferring this onto the pan so you can keep it flat. So this is kind of a 2-man job for me with the camera. I'm sure you could do it by yourself, but just be careful of the transfer. And here's the final product. It was really good, and it is definitely a tart. It was a tart recipe, but it was balanced out with the cream cheese. So anyway, on to the next clip. Alright guys, for our last inspiration blueberry recipe, we're going to be doing some blueberry jam. So in this pot we have a 1/4 cup of lemon juice and 4 cups of blueberries, and we've had it on low, and we're just going low and slow because this recipe isn't using any additional pectin, so we're really trying to draw out the pectin from the fruit itself. we have a water bath going because we will be canning this. So if you want to can, get your water bath. We're sterilizing the mason jars in there, and then we have the lids ready to heat up back here because that's how you'll get a good seal. All right, we'll check back in the next phase of the process. Okay, all right friends, we got this up to a simmer. All the juices have been releasing from the blueberries, so now we're putting in 2 cups of sugar. We'll put it to a medium heat and simmer for about 20 minutes and just stir occasionally, and I'll check back in with you guys. Okay guys, here's a little trick to see if your jam is done. We have a plate that we had in the freezer, and we're just spooning some of the jam onto the plate, and if it firms up, we'll consider it done. Doesn't look like it is doing that right now though, so I will show you guys when we have a successful plate test.
I actually think
that's a big good. That's a big blob.
That's actually good.
I think that's good. All right, you heard it here, guys. That's good.
Right. Want to make sure that there's no jam or grease or anything so that you'll get a perfect seal.
Yeah, so you don't affect the seal. So now this should immediately get a seal. How many minutes?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Alright guys, so we water bathed for 10 minutes with the top on, and then we turned off the heat, and now we're gonna let them sit in there for 5 minutes. Alright guys, so there you have it. I'm just spreading my jam onto toast, and it was really, really good. So let me know if you guys use any of these recipes or if you felt inspired. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye!